Fortunately, some are born with spiritual immune systems that sooner or later give rejection to the illusory worldview grafted upon them from birth through social conditioning. They begin sensing that something is amiss and start looking for answers. Inner knowledge and anomalous outer experiences show them a side of reality others are oblivious to, and so begins their journey of awakening. Each step of the journey is made by following the heart instead of following the crowd, and by choosing knowledge over the veils of ignorance, and thus begins their journey of illuminating the darkness.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our final Halloween episode. As a kid growing up, I always looked forward to Halloween. The crisp fall air, the smell of a bonfire, that sweet tart taste of an apple crisp, and the feeling that the spirits were a lot closer to me than they were any other time of year. I had my fair share of plastic store-bought costumes, but my favorite ones were always the ones my mom and I spent weeks planning, making, and hours putting on. Like most kids, as I got older, my costumes became darker, scarier, and my taste in Halloween activities changed. I grew from trick or treating to going to haunted houses and watching horror movies. And yet, as I got older, my focus became the how and the why, and how the Halloween holiday began and why it became what it is today. So join us as tonight, the last Saturday before Halloween, we explore the history, the myths, and the legends of the holidays. The custom of Halloween actually began 3,000 years ago in the British Isles, Scotland, Ireland, Wales, and the Isle of Man, only it wasn't called Halloween. It was originally called Samhain, and it was actually a celebration of the harvest. The ancient Celts feared winter. Nothing grew, animal herds didn't move, and food became scarce. And the early Celts believed that this was the time when the veil between the worlds of the living and the worlds of the dead was at its thinnest. The Celtic priests, the Druids, were able to predict the future. And during the harvest celebration, kings were crowned, disputes were settled, warriors were celebrated, and the gods and the earth were thanked in the form of sacrifices. The Druids would read the entrails of the sacrificed animals to see what was coming in the next year. Home hearth fires were extinguished and relit from the community bonfire to symbolize changing from the old to the new. Now, many of the traditions are still practiced today, just in different ways. Samhain marked the end of the summer and the beginning of the winter. And the ancient Celts really didn't acknowledge spring or fall. There was a growing season and a dead season.
Death has come for the summertime and to take the leaves of spring. Hecate, never cease, dark mother, take us in. And the fires shall burn, and the wheel of life shall turn, and the dead come back home, arms are waiting. And in the night sky, on a lunar light they fly, and the dead come back home, arms are waiting. And the fires shall burn, and the wheel of life shall turn, and the dead come back home, arms are waiting. And in the night sky, on a lunar light they fly, and the dead come back home, arms are waiting. And the fires shall burn, and the wheel of life shall turn, and the dead come back home, arms are waiting. And in the night sky, on a lunar light they fly, and the dead come back home, arms are waiting.
In the Wheel of the Year, Samhain was seen as a powerful turning point, signifying the cycle of life, death, and rebirth. Samhain was the beginning of a new cycle or a new year. So, how did we get from Samhain to Halloween? Well, for that answer, we look no further than the Catholic Church. Now, believe it or not, the Church is responsible for the creation of most of the holidays, and if you do a little digging, you'll find that many of the Christian holidays we celebrate coincide with older pagan holidays. Now, how did this happen? Easily. Once upon a time, paganism was the prevailing religion throughout the land. Ancient Rome had numerous pagan practices and celebrations. They had their own Halloween or Samhain celebration known as Pomona. And it was the budding Christian religion that was the cult, the practices hiding in the shadows. This new religion adapted to many of the existing holidays to fit their needs, and thus allowing the Christians to blend in to the pagan Romans without being found out or persecuted. As Christianity grew, the older pagan holidays were basically taken over, for lack of a better term, to aid in converting people from the old ways to the new ways. Now, the main difference between Samhain and Halloween as we know it is that Halloween is celebrated on the same day every year, October 31st. Samhain was independent of the calendar, so its date would fluctuate from year to year. Because at the time when it began, calendars didn't exist. Now we come to the big question. Why did the church change it? Both celebrations are not one and the same. They're totally different. Samhain, translated from the ancient Gaelic to English, means summer's end. Halloween, Halloween, is a play on Halloween apostrophe en, or a shortened form of All Hallows Eve. It's the Americanization of the contraction. Now, according to the medieval Gaelic calendar, Samhain was celebrated roughly October 31st to November the 1st. The Catholic holidays of All Hallows Day or All Saints Day was celebrated on November 1st. November 2nd was the Catholic holiday All Souls Day. Dig deep enough into any Christian holiday or celebration, and you're going to find its pagan roots. But that's for another episode. As the Christian religion grew and gained hold in the pagan communities, church leaders attempted to gloss over the pagan worship celebration as Christian celebrations. In the 5th century, Pope Boniface made the first attempt. The Samhain celebration was moved to May 13th and named that day as a day for celebrating the saints. Pope Gregory would later move the celebration back to October and November so that All Hallows Day, or All Saints Day, and All Souls Day were celebrated together. So while Halloween may be a secular affair today, a holiday dominated by ghosts, goblins, candies, costumes, trick-or-treating, celebration, going to haunted houses, it remained rooted in the ancient pagan celebration. Most of the practitioners of the pagan religions, Wicca and such, celebrate the day as Samhain, the pagan New Year, with some aspects of the old Celtic celebration. Pretty neat, huh?
Rhythm stirs within the earth, it tells of nature of her birth. Return to light, return to life, lead us from this darkest night. God of the sun, now have you come? The reign of light has just begun. The warmest die to be reborn. Return now on a bright new morn. Lord applauds my pagan ways, and in my heart it'll always, always stay. Pagan born, pagan born. Winter's cloak we've sheltered long, waiting for spring's sweet song. The warmth we found beside the hearth has broken our break through the dark. I look toward the fiery sky, and know that your return is nigh. But I shall fall as the harvest corn. It is my fate, I'm pagan born. Lord applauds my pagan ways, and in my heart it'll always, always stay. Pagan born, pagan born, pagan born. Lord applauds my pagan ways, and in my heart it'll always, always stay. Lord applauds my pagan ways, and in my heart it'll always, always stay. Pagan born, pagan born, pagan born.
If you scroll through social media, you'll see some sites that claim if you celebrate Halloween, you're engaging in devil worship. Okay. Well, to be 100% honest, some pagan religions don't even acknowledge the existence of the devil. Actually, Samhain's older than the Bible itself, and there's no mention of the holiday in the text. As for Halloween as we know it, it came into existence centuries after the Bible was written. Keep in mind, Samhain existed about 1,000 years before Christianity, so sit on it. Going back to the roots of the word, Halloween, hallow, actually means holy, and een is an Old English abbreviation of evening. Going off the roots of the word, Halloween basically just means holy evening. And it actually was because it was the night before All Saints' Day, which was celebrated on November 1st, and then followed by All Souls' Day on November the 2nd. Go figure. Halloween is most popular in North America, primarily the United States and Canada, so it isn't an exclusive American holiday. However, many countries around the world observe the day as a day to celebrate loved ones who have passed on, such as Mexico's Day of the Dead celebration. Sadly, both Halloween and Day of the Dead have become detached from their roots and have been commercialized to the point that the meaning behind them has been lost. The only other holiday that Americans spend more money on than Halloween is Christmas, but not by much. So it begs the questions, what traditions are more American? Well, trick-or-treating, costumes, Halloween parties, visiting haunted houses, bobbing for apples are all traditions that have grown with the holiday. Apple bobbing comes to us from the pagan celebration of ancient Rome, Pomona, in which apples were an offering to the gods. In 50 BC, when Rome was invading Celtic Europe, the celebrations of Samhain and Pomona began to merge and shape traditions. And then we have the Puritans, and while the Puritans deemed the budding Halloween celebrations too pagan for them, the Anglo-Catholic population of Virginia still celebrated the holiday, shaping our modern celebrations. Most, if not all, of the southern colonies believed in magic and the occult, and one popular Halloween activity at the parties was divination, predictions of the future, especially future love interests and future husbands. These parties and activities have become staples of our modern day Halloween celebrations. As Irish immigrants would begin to enter the United States, they would bring with them their traditions that were still rooted in the ancient Samhain traditions. Traditions of carving jack-o'-lanterns would be added to the party's activities. Immigrants would find that the American pumpkin was so much easier to carve rather than the hardy vegetables such as beets, turnips, and potatoes that had traditionally been used in Ireland. By the end of the 19th century, the darker aspects of the holiday, such as evil deeds and witchcraft, would be forgotten, and the focus would be on having fun. And by World War I, Halloween would evolve to become more of a children's event, and the events and parties became more for the children than adults. Adults stayed at home, and parties gave way to children going outside the home, and trick-or-treating became the main activity. However, this would also have a darker side. This dark side became vandalism, resulting in property damage and some deaths. In an effort to curb the criminal activity, Anoka, Minnesota held the world's first organized Halloween celebration, complete with Halloween parade, thus solidifying Anoka's place in history as the Halloween capital of the world. During World War II, Halloween took a backseat as children all over the United States took part in the war effort. However, when the war ended, America had a reason to celebrate again, and Halloween celebrations came roaring back, with costume parties and trick-or-treating becoming the favorite Halloween pastimes. By the 1970s and 80s, the Halloween vandalism had begun again. Detroit's Devil's Night left citizens of the city in fear for life and property. Rumors of razor blades and various other objects and poisons and candy spread like wildfire. Now, where there were cases of apples with razor blades in them, however, no one was hurt. And while the cases of poison candy resulted in a few deaths, it always turned out that the candy was tampered with by a family member and not by a stranger. Another favorite pastime of Halloween that has grown in popularity in the last several years is visiting haunted houses. People go to see others in costumes, dressed as all manner of ghouls, ghosts, and goblins, just to kind of get a little scare, get the heart pumping, get the blood going. Now, leave it to the Christians, and I have no issue with them. If you're Christian, God love you, God bless you, move on. Leave me out of it. As you've heard me say before, religion is like a penis. You got one, you're proud of it, keep it out of my fucking face, man. I ain't interested. But the churches have jumped on and seen this as an opportunity to create their hell house. And what they do is they use it as a tool to gain new members to the church by letting people in, normally for a fee. I've seen some have admission prices higher than a haunted house, actually. Some haunted houses, $20, $30 to get into if they're not attached to an amusement park, or if they don't have several haunted attractions all in ones. These hell houses are charging $30 and $40 to get in. But they use it as a tool to convert and obtain new members to the church. And what they do is they show you the cost of the different sins. Premarital sex, abortion, drug use, holding hands, reading a book, playing with a Ouija board, whatever their church deems as a sin, you're going to go to hell for it. Have a nice day. Thanks for playing. Move forward. You know what? More power to them. I've never been to one. I have no desire to go to one. At my age, my ideal Halloween is to sit at home with some popcorn, a cold drink, and some John Carpenter. Hollywood has also embraced the spirit of Halloween. If you go to, let's just say Google in a manner of speaking, and you type in iconic Halloween movies, you are going to get a list like you would never believe. Some of the more popular ones are the Halloween series, Trick or Treat, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, Monster House, The Addams Family, The Munsters, Sleepy Hollow, The Conjuring series. There are so many of them. And then there's the old tried and true. Dracula, Frankenstein, the Wolfman, the Mummy. You've got Disney's versions, Hocus Pocus, Halloween Town, Haunted Mansion. Some of my favorites: A Nightmare on Elm Street, Hellraiser, Poltergeist, The Craft, The Shining, Stephen King's It. That I can sit here and go on and on and on with this list. Beetlejuice, Rocky Horror Picture Show, The Lost Boys, The Haunting, House on Haunted Hill. You know, you can go on for hours and hours about the Halloween movies, but they're out there. I don't know about anybody else, but in my house, we separate out all of our horror movies from all the rest of our movies, and we set them aside, and we save them for in the entire month of October. We will watch nothing but horror movies, and that's our tradition to celebrate. Every household has their own tradition for Halloween. And speaking of family Halloween traditions, if you're from the Midwest, trust me, your mom always knew how to make sure your Halloween costume fit around your winter coat. I can remember building snowmen with Halloween masks on growing up. So it just goes to show you, it's those little Halloween memories that make the holiday most memorable. Has the holiday of Samhain completely left us? No, it has not. As I said earlier, there are still practitioners of the old pagan religions, Druidism, witchcraft, Wicca, Norse religions. There are still those practitioners out there that celebrate Samhain. Now, they don't engage in animal sacrifices or anything like that. Not to my knowledge. I mean, shit, I don't know. They might. More power to them. Rock on. But they adhere to the old traditions. They have the bonfires. They ask their ancestors that have departed to join them. They leave offerings for the gods, and that's okay. That is their faith. That is their practice. If it makes you happy, if it fulfills your life, who am I to judge? Who are you to judge? None of your damn business to judge. So if you're going to judge me for liking to light candles, light a bonfire, run around in a circle 3 times, asking the guardians to bless us and join us and for us all to have fun, if you're going to judge me for that, piss off. I don't need you. That's the truth right there, man. I got a lot of friends like that too. But no matter how you celebrate the holiday, or even if you don't celebrate the holiday, all right, cool, more power to you. But don't stop your neighbor from dressing up in a Sonny and Cher costume and going on about their night. It's their life, not yours. That's all I've got for you for tonight, gang. I really appreciate you listening. And if you have a favorite Halloween memory to share, drop me a line. You can visit our website at www.illuminated-darkness.com or our Facebook page at Illuminated Darkness Podcast. Or if you're feeling special, email me directly, admin@illuminated-darkness.com. We're still planning on doing our ultimate haunted road trip. We're just going to need help and support from you guys. So buy me a coffee, shoot me a Cash App if you want to help out. Maybe we'll stop by wherever you're at in the U.S. and see you. Never know, could get illuminated on your own front porch. All information presented in the podcast is solely for entertainment purposes and no copyright infringement is intended. And until we meet again, my friends, keep your eyes and your minds open. And as always, try to stay out of the darkness. Happy Halloween, guys.
It seems like yesterday, but it really is a world away. and the